In part two of this week's episode with Zoe and Joe, we're going to look at life after winning the award, or the RICS Matrix Awards. So with part one, if you missed it, we've looked at why did they apply, some interesting sort of thoughts in there, so take a look at that. But let's take a look at life after the award. So I don't know if maybe you want to go first this time, Zoe, but I suppose, well, I think I know how you felt about the award. I was on your table, luckily, for that particular event. But what have the benefits been? How did you feel about it?
I just remember the tension building just before my name was announced at the table, and I think, Matt, you actually said, I felt the tension just before my name was announced. I think I stopped breathing. And
I was like, you need to go up now. Yeah.
I was in complete and utter shock. I don't think I've ever been shocked in my whole entire life. But yes, life after the award. Well, initially winning it was very overwhelming, and it was an amazing feeling just to feel that I'd been recognised by an external review system, which isn't with me every day, but I've been able to put across, what I've been doing, and it's been recognised, which was incredible. But I also did get some opportunities after that. So I spoke at a couple of events, the Sava Careers Fair, which was at the Coventry Stadium, and I spoke at the RPSA annual conference at the British Motor Museum. And actually, although I can speak quite well and confidently, speaking on a stage in front of hundreds of people, I actually felt quite difficult. But that's another thing, that I had that imposter syndrome, and I was like, I can't do this. But I pushed myself. The first time, I was a nervous wreck. The second time, I felt like a bit more relaxed because I'd done it before. So ultimately, you're still going to feel a bit nervous here and there, even if you win something and you think, right, I'm onto it now. There's, but don't turn down the opportunities that come your way after just because you're not used to doing something. That I think that's really important, because when you apply for the award, you're behind the screen. You don't have to do anything in regards to a physical interview or anything like that. And then after you win, you become someone that people want to, take on and do things with. And then you're thinking, oh God, can I do that? But actually just go and do it, because it would be really good for your professional profile to continue that momentum.
Oh, definitely. I can imagine, actually. It's a good point. You go from sitting behind the computer doing the application to you're in a room with a hell of a lot of people on awards night, and you've got the mood lighting and the dinner and all that type of stuff, and suddenly it's like, oh, what have I done?
Yeah. What have I created for myself? A big ball of anxiety. But no, it was brilliant, and it definitely pushed me outside my comfort zone. And I was able to build on skills that I had probably not really worked on for a few years. From when I was an employee, I stood up and talked in front of people. Well, that all went when I became a business owner. And, when you're starting a business, it's quite small, and then you're only talking to people at work, and you're not really engaging with many other people. So, it was like, oh, wow. All these people now know me and what I've done. This is scary. But
that's true.
Take the positive from it, because there's, for your career, it can really help teleport you to the next step, and opportunities start flying at you. And it's fantastic.
Definitely. What about you, Joe? Have you found it sort of winning the award and the benefits after? Have you noticed a difference?
Yes, I think just firstly reflecting on the awards night, whether or not you're nominating yourself, or whether you're shortlisted or whatever, think about going to the awards night is something that I would also suggest to everyone, because it's such a good night, and it's not often that we as residential surveyors get together and meet each other. Residential surveyors is full of people working in their own small companies, and particularly for the people that the Matrix Awards are for, the people up to 10 years qualified. It's great to be able to just get together and have a chat with different people. But yeah, I think, like Zoe says, when your name's called out, you go into a state of shock.
Yeah, how do I walk again?
Yeah, you're suddenly in a room that is full of tables and you don't really know how to get to the stage.
I'm glad you said that, and you've won it twice, Joe, so you must have got that both times.
Yeah, and the first time I was sat at the very back of the room, and working out how to get all the way to the front was difficult.
I'd run out the back, I think,
yeah, you get an immediate rush, an immediate buzz, and I got an immediate boost of confidence as well, and that sort of propelled me through. And what I did almost immediately after that, the applications had just come out for the RICS professional group panels, so I applied for that. A lot of that was my application was based on the fact that I'd just won the Matrix Residential Surveyor of the Year, and I got onto the residential professional group panel, and it's probably from that I've used my award. It's probably that I've used my award most for. But like with Zoe, from that I've sat on stages and stood on stages in front of hundreds of people talking, and I get the imposter syndrome too. And you sort of have to go back and think about what you wrote and what got you the award to then think, yes, I can do this. But suddenly people know you. And I was at a conference recently and people were coming up to me because they knew who I was. And that was just a very strange sort of feeling for me, because I'm not the most vocal when it comes to social media, but people still, they've recognised your photo from the RICS publications, and it is a great feeling.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm similar to you. I'm not. Well, I think similar to you both. I don't put much online. I tend to sort of try and keep myself off there. Just I don't know why. I've sort of personally hidden on there, but I completely agree. It's a really good night. I've been a couple of times, and I'm not going for awards. I'm not a surveyor myself, but it's a really good buzz, and it's nice to see the industry together, and everyone's very relaxed because it's not a work environment, and you just suddenly see that there's a lot of people that you can talk to and they relate to you, so you have those conversations. But I imagine the same boost that you got from winning, did you get that? I suppose from being nominated initially, because you're still being recognised at that point, and there's about 6 or so people in each category generally that will get the nomination. So I imagine that feels quite good too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like from the outset, you get a buzz and it's exciting. And when I went down to the awards last year, I was actually on the train with some other nominees, and there was just a buzz about everyone, because it's just an exciting thing. It's something that we all look forward to.
Definitely. Was that same for you, sir?
And that is something to be just as proud of, to be honest, because you've already been recognised to be shortlisted. So, in a way, you have won something because you've still been recognised. So, yeah, I remember receiving the email and, gobsmacked. Okay. But that, you're right, it's nice. But then then there's a build up, because you get that news, and then there's a bit of a wait until the night. So it does the feelings do build up over that time.
The anticipation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's been a wait before then. So after you've pressed the submit button, waiting for the shortlist to come out is also the build up. So you go through these sort of ups and downs all the way through it.
If anyone wants to slow their life down, this is the way to do
it. That's good advice, I think, because everything does go so quickly now. I suppose, my last question on this topic is having gotten into a position where you've gone for the award, you've won. Has it motivated you to continue to do things consistently or differently, or has it changed the sort of the next goal you've got for sort of what you want to achieve within your role, or like Joe, you mentioned you went through a period of going for awards. If you got your eye on the next thing potentially, you don't have to say what that is. You might not want to, but yeah, has that changed your motivations?
I think for me, I'm a very motivated, career motivated person anyway. So I will always push for more. And one of the things that you probably don't expect after an award is to win the award and then within a couple of weeks start thinking, well, what's next? Is there, how do I beat this? How do I improve on this? Because you sort of feel like there's nowhere else to go. But then I come back to the different categories that you have to write about, and something that I'm particularly interested in is innovation, and that's one of the categories that you have to write about in the submission. And I think innovation, because that is just continuing onwards, then you've always got something to work towards, and you can always push for more. That might not be awards. You don't have to be consistently going for awards throughout your career, but it's definitely a good springboard to then be able to push yourself further and further, either in your business or like Zoe did in setting out your own business. And the sort of the world's your oyster once you've got that baseline. But there is a fear. There is certainly a fear straight after the awards of thinking, what do I do now?
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, I saw a comment off the back of the Olympics. I think it was Simone Biles, the US gymnast, and she said, "Can we stop asking people when they've just won a medal what's next? I haven't finished celebrating yet."
Yeah.
Which I completely understand. What about you, Zoe? Is it changed? You had the business already before you applied, but has it changed the focus on, or did it change straight after the focus on what you wanted to do? It's been a couple of years nearly now, so.
Yeah, well, it definitely motivated me to think about other things I wanted to do with the business, and that's when I thought about writing a book and developing a product. So, but that was the motivation to do that, because of all these ideas. Then you win an award and you go, I'm ready. I could do it. So, but also it's important to understand that you don't have to win an award to recognise that you've got ability. So it's using it in the right way, not relying on it to fuel you, but using it in the right way to push you. I would say that my mindset did change after that. It's natural for it to change. And I think that, like I say, it's not getting too obsessed with it to the extent where you're sort of relying on it to fuel your motivation, but that it's sort of like a nice thing to have attached to you, and maybe it might help progress you a bit quicker, but you would have got there anyway, type thing,
Yeah, definitely. I think the key takeaway I've got from this, and correct me if I'm hearing it wrong, but from both of you, it's apply. It's good to reflect on what you've done, and whether you actually submit the application, is another thing, and whether you win's another thing. But actually, even just reflecting on what you've done can be enough of a confidence boost to go, actually, yeah, I can do what I want to do next. And brilliant if you get nominated. That's a recognition in itself, and obviously the cherry on the top of winning is another. But that isn't the be all and end all. At least reflecting on where you've come from can be a real motivator.
You can't 100%. Always get a yes to everything. It's completely impossible. You're going to have various knockbacks in your careers because a lot of things are out of your control. However, you've just got to be confident in yourself. It all goes back to that self-confidence and consistency and just a passion for what you do. If you love what you do, that will come across in everything that you do, and other people will see it as well. And then that's when you start to get recognised, I think.
Definitely. I think that's a nice round off to this topic. So join us for part 3 if you are looking to go through the application process. We're going to look at tips for applying.